Can I explain WT? Dude, with pleasure I can explain WTRTI. Alright, so this is WTRTI. This is what the program looks like when you open it up. This is Warthunder real-time information. It's a free thing you can download, and it pulls the files, like it pulls current game content, and it tells you whatever you want. Now, like, this is how I have mine set up, but you can set it up however you want. Like, you can add, and then when you go into add, like, you can come in here, and there's all kinds of shit that you can add. It's a little bit laggy right now because the game is running, but like how much fuel you have in kilograms, how much fuel you have in pounds, how much thrust you have in kilograms, how much manifold pressure you have in atmospheres, what your RPM is, all kinds of stuff, right? You can add it all in there. You can, like, you know, put on like the engine category and just see like engine stuff, like propeller pitch, engine temperatures in centigrade, Fahrenheit. And then once you've got that set up, right, you can set up, you can, like once you've added them here, you can add in like alarms. So like right here I've got an alarm for my fuel in minutes and seconds. So if I double click my fuel in minutes and seconds, it opens up this sub window, right? And you can like display this stuff on screen if you want. I don't. I just have it running off to the side on a second monitor, and I can glance over at it and stuff like that. But then you could set up an alert, right? So I have one alert when my minutes, when my seconds of fuel is less than 120. So less than 120, if 120 is greater than the amount of fuel that I have, this sound plays. This metal drum. And then if I get less than 100 seconds of fuel, it plays again, and that's like my final warning. It actually apparently doesn't play. I think I turned that off at some point. So it only plays it once at 120. So you can do things like add in... I've got other sounds for like my gear flutter. Gear flutter is the amount of stress that is being put on your landing gear. At 100% stress, your landing gear breaks, period. Like if at 99, you're okay. At 100, boom, gear is gone, right? So as your landing gear is down and you're moving, like you can see my gear flutter right now is at 0. But watch what happens as we start moving. You'll start noticing... Hold on, I gotta... let's move. So now I'm only going at like 40 knots, right? And then if I go back to WTRTI, you can see my gear flutter is now at 36, 39, 40, right? And I know in this plane that my gear will rip at 172 knots. The closer I get to 172 knots, the more close to 100 that gear flutter will be. And it's actually higher now because I'm on the ground. If I pull up off the ground, it should go down. Nah, it's not going down. I'm wrong. But anyway, so now I've got that beeping sound. You hear that beeping sound that started playing? That's letting me know that, hey, your gear is down and you are approaching your gear brake speed. My gear should brake at 172 knots, so if I ignore that sound, which I'm going to now, I'm just going to purposefully ignore it, right, and I accelerate to 172 knots, then my gear will brake. And if I keep accelerating, my other gear will brake. So that is like my passive indication, like, hey dude. So that is like my little, like, hey dude, you forgot to raise your landing gear. Because, you know, I'm constantly, like, I'm watching chat, I'm paying attention to what you guys are saying, I'm like, you know, and I fly so many different aircraft, I don't have all the gear rip speeds and stuff, like, memorized. So having that, like, you know, passive little notification can kind of save me from a lot of embarrassment on stream. You know, kind of save me from myself. I fly so many different airplanes, like I don't specialize in any one particular plane. So that's just kind of a way for me to be aware. And then I've got another sound for my flaps too. If I put my flaps down and I accelerate a whole bunch, you'll hear a slightly different sound. It'll be more of like a boop, boop, boop. That was a beep, beep, beep. This is going to be a boop, boop, boop. So now my flaps are fully down, and let me lower my pitch so that my, you hear that? You hear like the ooh, ooh, ooh in the back? You can hear the gear too playing over it. But if I keep going down, these flaps will break right there. Yep. At 145 knots. So that is how I, can kind of passively keep track of that for fuel, and you can set it up for whatever you want. It's extraordinarily useful. You can display shit on the screen if you want. Like I've got my KPH and my meters posted on there as well, because people keep asking me like, "Hey, what is that in meters?" And I used to be like, "I don't fucking know, dude. You fucking do the math, man." You know what I mean? But now I could just glance over at RTI and be like, I'm at 176 feet or 54 meters, and it just says it right there.